Hi everyone. This week we're going to be working on our basic skirt sloper. And the basic skirt can be used in a number of different ways. It can be used to draft different skirt patterns. It can be attached to the bodice sloper and a dress sloper created from it. That's something that we can talk about at a later date. The skirt sloper you're going to find has darts, and there's different ways we can do the darts. Here's a sloper. This one's kind of on the long side, and you'll notice that you have two darts. Skirts can have one dart. They can have two darts. The darts can be longer. They can be shorter. Darts can be converted into pleats or tucks. But for the basic sloper, we're going to be using the two darts of unequal length. My suggestion would be to conserve on your oak tag paper is that the length of the skirt, you make it 20 inches, and that way you can turn it sideways on a sheet and you'll be able to get out of one sheet of oak tag your front and your back. Again, we're going to be using a standard size, so whatever size you use for the top, if you drafted an 8 or if you drafted a 10, you want the skirt to be the same size so that later on they can be teamed together to create a dress. So we're going to use the outline that's in the textbook on page 48, chapter 3, and it will have the dart measurements in there for you, and I'll walk you through that as we go along. And then we will kind of hang on to this until we can do a fitting if we get back on campus before we put it on oak tag. So even though I may explain some of the things about it going on oak tag, we can hold off doing that until a later date. So let's get started with drafting this. This should go a little faster than your bodice draft because there's not as much that we have to shape. And so make sure, again, that when you draw your lines, your coordinates from A to B, you mark that's 20 inches. And then when you go across sideways, again, you mark that so that at a later date, if we need to check your work, we'll be able to see what measurements you used and check those measurements against the chart. Now, remember, the standard measurement chart is on page 36. So I would suggest that, on page 48, you write those measurements next to each coordinate that you're doing. Make sure if it says to add a ½ inch for wearing ease or to take something away because of the dart intake, make sure that you do that math, and then make sure you write that number on the sloper so that we can use that later for checking your work. So hopefully this is going good and that you're enjoying yourself and as you learn a new skill. So let's get started.